Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head across the Øresund once again to Copenhagen in Denmark, and we're going to revisit a brewery who you've seen me do a couple of videos from now. So this is yet another one of the Untappd breweries, and these guys have made their name once again in IPAs and stuff like this. They always do some really interesting IPAs. So we're going to return to Gamma Brewing Company. You saw me review the Guap from these guys a couple of weeks back, but this time we are going to have a go at the Trace, which is a double IPA coming in at 8% ABV. And the guys in Kiosk over in Copenhagen, where I got this, were telling me that this one is better than the Guap, but I really did enjoy the Guap, so very curious to see how this one turns out. The guys at Kiosk, you know, never really seem to point me in the wrong direction, so hopefully this is yet another good beer, and as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Gamma Brewing Company before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Danish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Gamma Brewing Company then. So as I've told you before, Gamma Brewing Company was founded back in 2004 by 4 friends in Copenhagen who at the time were bartenders in various beer bars around the city, but they often talked about how cool it would be to have their own brewery, and then this turned into a reality. So they've since taken in another owner, so the team at the brewery are Jakob, Anders, Jesper, Koy and Nick, but they all had a bit of home brewing experience, and 2 of them had worked in Untappd in Copenhagen, who later purchased the former Stronzo brewery in Gørløse, which of course has now become Untappd. So apparently they were invited to join Untappd, and they got a good deal on a 20 hectolitre tank, and they started the brewery without any experience at all of running a business. But this went quite well for them though, and they've expanded it quite a few times now, and they're now producing somewhere in the region of 500 hectolitres per year, and also exporting their beers across to Germany, the Netherlands, and some of them do come over here to Sweden of course as well. But one of the co-owners is also a co-owner of the main Ølsnekeren bar in Aarhus as well, which is in Øland on the main part of Denmark that's connected to Germany, if you like. But Untappd is home to Ølsnekeren, Gamma Brewing, and also Dry and Bitter. You've seen me review beers from each of those. I do have one from Ølsnekeren that I need to review, but Ølsnekeren also brew the Bad Seed beers under contract as well. Ghost Brewing and Rooster also brewed in this facility for a period of time, but they've since moved on to pastures new. But Gamma Brewing, like I say, one of the really well-known Copenhagen breweries at the moment, and they're doing some pretty damn interesting stuff, I have to say. As I've told you many a time, Copenhagen is potentially the best craft beer city in the world, although from what I hear Chicago might rival it actually. But yeah, some awesome stuff going on in Copenhagen. Gothenburg here in Sweden also has some really interesting things as well. So yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then. So as you can see with this one, really quite nice artwork on this actually. As I said, it's an 8% double IPA, this one hopped with Simcoe, Mosaic and Equinox, but it's almost like a kind of circuit board that actually. I think it's pretty cool artwork on this one, I have to say. But yeah, I think it'll be a New England double IPA. This one, it says on the side here it's got wheat in it, so I'm guessing, yeah, it probably will be a New England one, this. But yeah, it looks very, very nice. Nicely presented beer, as you always get. This one is a 440 milliliter can. So yeah, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting. We can get rid of the brewery notes for this one then. There we go. One of the things in Denmark, you always get really good beers actually for reasonable prices. You know, I'm thinking I paid about 60 Danish crowns for this guy. I'm not sure how much you would manage to get it through Systembolaget for, but chances are that this beer will appear a little bit later. To be honest with you, this one actually looks a little bit more like a West Coast IPA or something to you. It's not quite as hazy as some of the New England ones. But yeah, that's interesting. It did say it had wheat malt in the malt base, so I'm sure it will be more along the lines of a New England beer. But yeah, when I hold this one up to the light, it is actually quite a rich amber colour. There's a solid half finger of a frothy cream coloured head on this one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head. You can see there is a degree of haziness to this beer, but nowhere near as much as you can get from one of these New England beers. But you know, it looks absolutely lovely. So yeah, nothing particularly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance, and you can smell some of these lovely fruity notes just popping out of the aroma with this one. And that's before we've even looked too far into it. So yeah, it looks like a double IPA. Looks pretty good actually. So let's take a closer look at that aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. So yeah, really nice fruity note to this beer, as you would expect. You can smell some of the really nice Simcoe notes out of this. Simcoe I've always found gives you this really juicy and fruity passion fruity note, and it's also almost like a little bit milky and smooth. I've always found Galaxy is just a little bit more pronounced and a little bit more punchy, if you like, in that passion fruit note. So the Simcoe I always think is a really nice hop. Simcoe's been on the block for a little while. Citra was the big one that everyone went nuts for. Simcoe came along not after that, and now it's Mosaic and Galaxy that a lot of different breweries are using, which is really kind of interesting. So yeah, you can really smell these lovely soft Simcoe notes with this one. But yeah, definitely some nice tangerine oranges in there as well, which is the Mosaic coming out. You can also get a nice limey note in there, which is Equinaut as well. It's not, in terms of the fruitiness, this one isn't the most complex IPA that you're going to come across. It is very kind of straight up in terms of that slightly smooth, almost lactosey, milky type passion fruit that the beer has. You've also got that nice, you've also got that nice little bit of limey quality in there, and also the juicy kind of orangey tangerines too. So each hop that you have in this beer really is playing a very nice and important role. It's an interesting blend of the fruity side of things. I would say that the green side of the hops is leaning towards the grassy side of things rather than being floral. I don't find this beer overly floral actually. I'm just going to check when this one was canned. It doesn't say. It does. This one was canned on the 6th of May 2019, so it is quite fresh actually, and that's interesting that, because this beer really does smell a little bit more malty and juicy rather than being quite big and hoppy. You know, it's really quite nice. The malt base is interesting too. Definitely some nice wheaty, white bready quality in there, but it does have a little bit of a kind of caramelly brown sugar kind of thing too, which is interesting. And you've also got a nice little bit of a kind of biscuity grain too, which I think is really interesting. So yeah, definitely one of the more malty New Englandy type IPAs that I've come across. I'm guessing of course that it is a New England IPA, but to me it does smell kind of bready. Doesn't quite have the creaminess that you can sometimes get from the beers in the aroma, but there is a little bit of an almost biscuity and caramelly note in there too. So as I always say, take a little bit of time and just enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck in. But to me this is a nice juicy one, a little bit more of a malty presence and not quite as pronounced on the green side of the hops as some of these beers can be. So yeah, without further ado then, let's get stuck into this one. This one is the Trace. I was going to call it the Trust there, but I was like, no, it's the Trace. So this one is the Trace Double IPA, coming in at 8% ABV from Gamma Brewing Company at Untappd and Gurlas in the kind of northwesternish part of Copenhagen. Let's get stuck in. Slange, skål. Yeah, that's nice actually. That really is interesting. This one is definitely more of a malty IPA. It's definitely got a little bit of the New England kind of thing going on, but to me this is really leaning more towards a sort of West Coast-ish IPA. It does have a really nice malty backbone to it, which I've been missing, you know. I've been complaining about this in a couple of my recent videos and stuff recently, that there's not the West Coast IPAs seem to have been forgotten, to be honest. But this is nice. It's got the nice kind of sweeter malty backbone to it, but it doesn't quite, it doesn't have the same level of bitterness as a normal West Coast IPA would. So this is a really interesting, almost hybrid type beer, to be honest with you. But thumbs up. I mean, from In my opinion, it does deserve a thumbs up. They've done a nice job of this beer actually. So if you're missing that kind of nicer, sweeter, malty backbone from an IPA, then this is one that's going to kind of fill that void for you, I have to say. Yeah, that's good. I like this. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. But the one thing I would say about it is when it's 8% ABV, that's ridiculously easy to drink. It's very, very smooth, and it just has that nice kind of sweetness to it. You could easily tan a few of these without realising just how kind of potent they probably are after a little while. But yeah, let's try and break this flavour down a little bit then. So straight away you can feel that nice wheaty, that smooth wheaty quality, that just blankets the middle of your tongue. There's not really a notey creaminess to this one, but it does have a level of that almost. It's got a very slight kind of almost milkshakey smoothness to it. The way the wheat malts are coming out in this one is ridiculously smooth, and it almost borders onto the sweet side of things, to be honest with you. On top of that, if you move into the centre of your palate, you can feel there is a little bit of an oily, caramelly presence to this beer, which is really nice. And in the very centre of your palate, that caramelly note almost gets a teensy little bit toasty, but as you move further out from it, it gradually evolves to be more of a kind of biscuity note actually, which is really interesting. So yeah, that's a really interesting beer, this one. They've done a really good job of this, and as I say, Gamma, in my opinion, get a really big thumbs up on this one. The way that malt base goes together is really nice. It's quite simple in its concept, just basically a straight, smooth, wheaty quality, nice little bit of sweeter caramel in the middle, almost a little touch toasted actually the further that you go into the aftertaste. Then you've just got the more kind of McVitie's digestive-y biscuit notes as you move away from that through the centre. So yeah, it's nice how everything goes together on this one. On the hoppy side of things then, you've got a little touch of earthiness at the back corners of the palate. That will be coming from the Mosaic in this beer. Mosaic always gives you just that little bit of an earthy quality, but as you come further forward, the hoppy side of the beer really does just smooth out. You get a little touch of a floral quality there, and it lingers the further you go into the aftertaste. But yeah, that quality just lingers a little bit as you come further forward. You get a little touch of the kind of floral aromaticity at the front corners of the palate, then around the very front curve of the tongue it's just a little bit lighter and more grassy, I would say, and of course behind the front curve of the tongue, that's where you get that nice oily bubble where those juicy fruity esters start to come out of the beer. And this is where the blend between the malty side of the beer and the hops really kind of shows off how well balanced this beer is. This is definitely one of the more balanced IPAs that I've had in recent times. It really is somewhere along the lines of a hybrid between a West Coast and a New England. It's almost like a West Coast IPA this, but with a West Coast IPA in terms of its malty character, but it's definitely got the smoothness that you would expect of a New England IPA. So a really unusual but very interesting, very good beer actually in terms of the IPA style. So yeah, if you have been missing those beers with a slightly sweeter malty backbone, this one's going to really fill a void for you. Round the front curve of the tongue, as I said, you get that nice lighter grassy component, and then behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get that nice oily bubble where those juicy fruity esters start to push their way out of the beer. So if you go towards the back of that, for me, I would say that's where you get the passion fruit. The passion fruit's actually a little touch darker in this one. It almost has a little edge of grapefruit to it, but the passion fruit is nice and dark. Like I say, Simcoe gives you this lovely, quite bright and quite juicy passion fruity note, but sometimes in the flavour it can be a little bit darker. If you come further forward from that, that's when you start to get the more orangey, tangerine notes coming out of the Mosaic, and then as you move towards the front of your tongue, that's where the limey Equinox comes out. I'm not really getting lemony notes from this one. You can get a little bit more of a lemony lime quality from. You do get more of a lemon limey quality from Equinox sometimes, but to me it's a straight up lime in this one. And if you're on the very, very tip of your palate, it's somewhere along the lines. There's a little touch of an almost blueberry note to this beer as well. It's very kind of subtle on the very, very tip of your tongue, but all of these fruits really go together quite nicely, particularly the tangerine notes. They build a really good bridge with the slightly caramelly backbone that this beer has, but the lime and the passion fruit don't look overly, they don't really look out of place at all in this beer. This one's definitely one of these ones where it's all about how the flavours mix together, but Gamma have done a really awesome job on this one, so big thumbs up to them for this beer. I think they have done very nicely with this one. But it is ridiculously easy to drink, this beer. It actually, it does have a little bit of the dankness to it, but it's nowhere near the level of bitterness that you can get from a West Coast IPA. I'd be surprised if this one, I think this is probably around 30 IBUs again, maybe 40 at a push. But I would be very surprised if there's anything, if there's more bitterness in it than that. They might have actually used a bittering hop in this one, because I don't remember Simcoe and Equinaut or Mosaic having this level of kind of spiciness to it. I do wonder if they've maybe used a little bit of a Columbus in here to bitter this one up. Maybe Columbus is being used as the base bittering hop, and Columbus is quite distinctive just because of that slightly spicy floral aromaticity that you get out of it. It's almost like a licoricey, aniseedy type spiciness that you can get out of it at times, and I'm picking that up on the side of the tongue. So that's interesting. Maybe they've used a little bit of Columbus in this one as a bittering hop, but yeah. And I'm noticing that the further you go into the aftertaste, the slightly more spicy it gets on the sides of the tongue too, but it really starts to lean more towards the juicy, oily, fruity side of things, and also a little touch of the malty side of the beer starting to push its way out as well. But yeah, a really nicely balanced double IPA, this one. It's almost like a hybrid of the New England and the West Coast styles, as I was saying. So yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel then, this beer to me, it comes across as being quite kind of at the bottom end of full bodied. It's got a big oily mouthfeel to it, this one. very smooth in terms of its carbonation. As I mentioned earlier, I would estimate the IBUs of this one are somewhere around the 40 mark. It really, the more and more you drink of this, the more you get that sort of spicy floral aromaticity out of the beer, and it could even be pushing the 50 mark, to be honest with you. I do suspect that there is a little bit of Columbus or something similar in here. I wouldn't think it would be Chinook, to be honest, although in fairness, the beer does almost have a little bit of that very dark grapefruity note at the very front, at the back of the fruity side of things, so perhaps there could be a little bit of Chinook in there. Chinook, of course, will give you big piney resins and grapefruity notes, so there could be a little bit of that in there. But yeah, lovely juicy fruity notes to the beer. A really interesting balance between the smooth, white bready, wheaty side of things, and also a little bit of sweetness in there as well. But overall, this is just a really nice beer, this one, once again, and I'm not surprised. You know, Gamma Brewing are capable of some really nice beers. I'm sure one of the beers that I had from these guys before was the Hop Sweat IPA, which was a West Coast one, and that was really lovely. They had a beautiful sweet backbone to it, so maybe this is them going back to their roots a little bit and creating these kind of hybrid IPAs. But yeah, have a go at this beer for yourself and just see what you think. This is one of the more unusual IPAs that I've had over the last little while, but I think it's definitely fair to describe this one as having the New England fruitiness and the smoothness, but also having a little bit of that sweetness and a little touch of the bitterness, I guess, as well, from the West Coast style. So yeah, this is definitely one to have a little go at, and Gamma Brewing Company, you can't really go wrong with them. They're one of the really solid Danish IPA producers. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This is the Trace, an 8% double IPA from Gamma Brewing Company at Ulkollektivet in Gørløse in Denmark. Once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Gamma Brewing Company as well, and no doubt I will return to these guys in the fairly near future. Until the next time, slange it just now. Make sure you check out my social media and have a go at some of these Gamma Brewing Company beers. Check out the Kiosk website too, and that's a really good place to actually get a hold of some of these different Danish craft breweries. So yeah, until the next time, slange it just now, and I'll catch you guys later. The Trace from Gamma Brewing Company in Copenhagen over in Denmark. A lovely 8% double IPA with a little bit of the West Coast and the New England type characteristics to it. Until the next time, slange it just now, I'll catch you guys later. Slange, skål.